What is up, guys? This is Concordia Jedi Asher, and we are back from an academic hiatus. We want to thank all of our subscribers for sticking with us, and we may not have many of you, but each one of you means a lot to us, and we'll be getting out more videos to you very soon. So, without further ado, here's the new What If video. What if Dooku killed Obi-Wan on Geonosis? Now, obviously, this will change a ton of things in the timeline. We see in Attack of the Clones that Dooku clearly outmatches Kenobi and defeats him fairly quickly. However, before he can deliver the finishing blow, Anakin, who had been subdued by Dooku earlier, jumps in and blocks the Count's strike. But, for the sake of the story, let's say that Anakin was not able to recuperate in time to save his master. Dooku would strike down on Kenobi's neck, ending the master's life. Seeing this would drive Anakin into a rage. Jumping towards Dooku, Anakin's anger would fuel his strikes and heighten his abilities. Striking from multiple directions and angles, the fight would last longer than it had in canon, just long enough for Yoda to arrive and activate his ancient green blade and rush over to aid Skywalker. Unable to fight both the Chosen One and his old master, Dooku would attempt to retreat only for Anakin to block the path to his starship. With a powerful force push, Yoda would send the Count flying into a wall as Padme would arrive with several clones. Though Anakin would be filled with murderous rage at the death of his master, his anger would temporarily subside at the sight of Padme. Dooku would be placed into Republic custody as Obi-Wan's body would be removed and taken back to the temple on Coruscant, where Anakin and the rest of the Jedi would witness and mourn his burial. Anakin would not lose his arm and would find comfort in Padme, as the two would get married soon in secret on Naboo as they did in canon. This is where things would take a drastic change. We know that in Attack of the Clones, Dooku is aware that Palpatine is the Sith Lord and is secretly controlling both sides of the war. He was ready to divulge the information to Kenobi if he would only join him. Kenobi, however, refused to join Dooku, and the information remained a mystery until Revenge of the Sith. Dooku would be put on trial before the Senate for crimes against the Republic. Though he would be offered a lighter sentence in exchange for his cooperation, Dooku would remain loyal to his master and would not divulge anything. Dooku would be placed in a maximum security Republic prison to live out the rest of his days. Anakin, meanwhile, would be placed under the tutelage of Master Yoda for the remainder of his apprenticeship. With the head of the Separatist Alliance behind bars, the Clone Wars would not progress nearly as fast as they did in canon. The multiple Separatist leaders would scramble for power, eventually falling under the control of the new threat of General Grievous, with the dark side warrior Ventress taking on the temporary role of Palpatine's apprentice and assassin. As Anakin would progress in his training, he would be constantly haunted by his failure to not only save his mother, but Obi-Wan as well. Though he would try to seek counsel with Master Yoda, the fear of losing Padme would be greater now than ever. Palpatine would continue to slowly manipulate Anakin's mind with lies and deceit, which would fuel the fear and anger even further. As the time of Revenge of the Sith would draw near, Grievous would lead an assault on Coruscant where he would capture Chancellor Palpatine and free the imprisoned Count Dooku and bring them both to his ship, the Invisible Hand. Anakin, recently knighted, would head off to rescue the Chancellor. From here, things would play similarly to how they did in Revenge of the Sith, however, minus Obi-Wan. Upon reaching Palpatine, Anakin would once again be confronted by Dooku. Anakin's rage would boil at the sight of the man who killed his former master. The duel would be fast-paced and brutal. However, in the end, Anakin would manage to sever Dooku's hands and would hold both his saber and the Sith Lord's at the throat of the helpless man. As Palpatine would urge Skywalker to kill Dooku, Anakin's anger would swell and he would sever Count Dooku's head, feeling literal remorse. Upon their escape, Anakin would manage to crash land what was left of the Invisible Hand to the planet's surface. From here, things would play almost the same as they did in Revenge of the Sith. Anakin would be haunted by visions of Padme's death and the death of their child, and Anakin would be placed on the Council without the rank of Master, which would further feed his resentment of the Council. In this story, however, since Obi-Wan was killed on Geonosis, Yoda would be dispatched to kill Grievous on Utapau, while Jedi Master Luminara Unduli would be left to deal with the liberation of Kashyyyk. During this time, Palpatine would reveal himself as the Sith Lord to Anakin. Anakin would return to the temple and inform Master Windu of his findings. From here, Windu, Kolar, Tin, and Fista would rush to face Palpatine. The events would play the same as they did in the film, with Windu subduing Palpatine and Anakin arriving soon after. Though Anakin would tell Windu that he must stand trial and that he needed him, Windu would attempt to strike down Palpatine only for Anakin to interfere and cut his hand off, allowing for Palpatine to blast Force lightning at the Jedi Master and send him to his doom. Anakin would accept his role as apprentice to the Sith Lord and would be sent to the Jedi Temple to execute Operation Nightfall. Hundreds of Jedi would be killed as Yoda would barely escape Utapau and regroup with Senator Organa. Yoda would learn of Anakin's fall and sneak into the Jedi Temple to deactivate the code, luring surviving Jedi into the trap. Informing Padme of Anakin's fall, Padme would make preparations to head to Mustafar to find her husband. Yoda would now be faced with a serious dilemma. Would he go to Mustafar to face Vader, or would he remain on Coruscant to face Sidious? Seeing the defeat of the newly appointed Emperor as the highest priority, Yoda would head to the Senate building where he would confront Palpatine. Meanwhile, Padme would arrive on Mustafar and discover the truth about Anakin. Anakin, seeing the distress and heartbreak in his wife's eyes, would use the Force to put her into a deep sleep. He would then take Padme to an Imperial medical facility to give birth. Yoda's duel with Palpatine would play out the same, with Yoda's defeat and his retreat. Yoda, recognizing not only his failure, but the failure of the Jedi Order as a whole, would go into exile. On board an Imperial starship, Padme would give birth to twins. However, with the medical technology available, she would not die in childbirth. Though ashamed and angered at the actions of Anakin, her love for him would compel her to stay with him and raise their children. Vader's duel with Obi-Wan on Mustafar would never take place, and he would keep all of his limbs and not be confined to a constrictive life support system and heavy prosthetics. Anakin would grow to be the most powerful Force user in galactic history, eventually overthrowing Palpatine and taking Luke and Leia as his apprentices. The galaxy for years to follow would fall under the reign of Emperor Vader. I'm going to end the story here. What do you guys think would happen had Obi-Wan been killed in Attack of the Clones? Leave your comments below, give this video a like, and share it around. Thank you guys so much for watching. Concordia Jedi is back and we'll be bringing you new content very soon. This is Concordia Jedi Asher. May the Force be with you.